Welcome home. Matt's supposed to be on here in 3 minutes. We are so bad. Can you hear this oatmeal? Surely not. Fried banana oatmeal. Watch Mojo top 10 most best interesting delicious traits. Oh, dude, my phone keeps blowing up. It's really annoying. It's blowing up from donations from Unrwa. I don't know what that means. Okay. Matt Leave is here. I need to take one more bite of oatmeal before we start this. Yeah, I don't think I might not die the other half. And I got some herbal tea. This is the best day ever. Oh, okay. Hello?
Here we go.
Check, check. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Loud and clear.
Hell yeah.
Give me 1 sec. Set this up for the stream, which just so you're aware, we're live.
Oh, we're
Um,
live?
I can mute you if you have stuff you want to go over beforehand.
Nah,
Cool.
nah. You don't need to discuss stuff. I'm not going
Share
to say any
secrets.
slurs. I don't say slurs.
You're not a slur sayer.
Nope.
Me
Won't
neither.
do
That's
it.
good.
Stop
It
baiting me. Just do slurs.
Hate to hear them, hate to say them.
Mm-hmm. Hate to think them.
Oh fuck.
What happened?
I thought one.
Well, that's on you.
That's
I didn't
true.
do I didn't do shit.
You
Can I say
goaded
shit?
me. I think that's okay.
All right. Everyone's got rules.
I gotta get you into the stream, and then we're good to go. Nice lighting.
Thank you. I did it myself.
Do you stream ever?
No, I mean
Just
sometimes
pod.
we do like a stream episode of Bad Hezbollah, but mostly it's my wife. My wife streams a lot. Or
Oh, cool.
she streams more than me. And maybe I'll open up the old YouTube so I can see the chat. Matt has beautiful eyes and hair. Thank you. Thank you. I'm married. Unbelievable.
Calm down, chat.
Who can
It
say
can
that
get
to
real
him?
rowdy in there.
Yeah. Are you excited to have your least popular live stream right
I
now?
don't know. I think the numbers are going crazy. I see it's 20,000, 30,000.
Oh
It's
shit.
a nice
Well,
late night stream.
hell
I don't
yeah.
know if you posted about this anywhere, but
No, I was putting my baby down to sleep.
you got a
So
kid?
I have a child. Yeah. So I couldn't do nothing but try to sing her songs till she fell asleep. And
Yeah.
it did not work. She's still up, she's crying, saying my name. It's a fucked up life.
That's horrible. How old is she? Like
She's
new,
two and a
maybe?
half.
Uh,
Yeah. She's, terrible too. She's pretty good though, except for the crying and screaming for daddy.
yeah.
That's pretty, that sucks. Let's see. I'm just reading comments. I should never do this, but I'm doing it.
No, you're good. You're good.
People are gonna
You
say
don't.
no one's gonna say anything mean.
Everyone on the internet is a perfect angel from what I've seen.
Yeah, I usually notice the internet is like filled with nice people who only want the best.
Some of the best, very normal always.
hmm I like to check my spam folder on Instagram.
Mm.
There's a few people who like to DM me every couple of days, calling me a piece of shit, and it's I don't
Scroll up and
yeah, and
see.
I don't like I never respond because I want to see how long they go for, and they
Yeah.
usually last like I don't know a week or so. But there's one guy who it's like it's every 2 days for the last month, and I'm just like respect. That's dedication. Most people don't have that kind of dedication. They move on to someone else they hate. This guy's like, nah, I hate Matt Lee. I
I
was
want him
born
to
to hate this bitch.
I want him to see it or at least know that when he opens this, he's going to see that's how
Yeah.
much I hate him that I've spent 2 years.
I mean, he doesn't even know that I'm reading it. As far as he knows,
Oh yeah.
he's just been like, DMing into the ether. But
Writing it on a wall in his basement.
right, he might as well be, but he's not wrong. I am reading it and I'm impressed. Kind of want to be his friend.
Sounds cool. If you're in the chat, keep it up. Keep
Keep it
going.
up. Call me a piece of shit. I'm the worst. I'm awful. Let's see. Matt, can we get Gabor Mate to read Noah a bedtime story? He might. He
That's
might.
so cool. I'm still taken aback that I'm, I guess, one or two links away from Gabor
You're
Mate.
almost there, dude. You
Yeah.
are super close.
Is he down to take your place tonight? Can you tag him in?
Probably. He's old, so he might already be asleep.
Could be. Yeah, that makes sense.
But I don't know. He might maybe he's a night owl. Maybe that's how
How did
you
you and Aaron meet, or like how did
Oh,
this happen?
Daniel
I
is
don't.
my co-host. Aaron is his brother.
Correct.
Unbelievable. You didn't even read my bio. I'm just kidding.
They're just. I love them both so much that I can't tell them apart.
Yeah, they're very similar. We met after October 7th. I was doing um satirical videos as a liberal Zionist, and apparently he thought it was his first time seeing me, ever, and he thought I was serious, and he wrote like a quote tweet, saying like, "Look at this fucking guy," and then like after he posted it, he read the comments and he was like, wait a second, I think I just got got," and then he realized that I was doing a bit, and then he DM'd me to say how much he liked it, and then we did Hanukkah together. He came to LA and we had a little Hanukkah party. I went to it, and the rest is history. Yeah. With
That's awesome.
that night we met in person, and he met his current girlfriend, Hadar Cohen, all in the same night. So, you know, it's a crazy night for him.
Yeah, that's a movie.
Yeah, I know,
That's
right?
interesting.
So
Yeah.
meet cute. But
Just
yeah,
from
that's how we met. How long have you been, first of all, how long you been streaming on this in this fundraiser? How long has it been going? I feel like I've been getting DMs about it for the last 3 days.
Yeah, it's I started on Saturday afternoon.
Dear
So
God.
Saturday afternoon, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. So this is the fourth night basically.
Wild.
Yeah, it's been crazy. It's been just crazy. I don't know. It's been great. There's been all
Yeah.
sorts of different guests, and I've been able to sleep, but it's also weird because you get less sleep when there's people watching you do it, you know?
Are you
Um,
streaming? Are you streaming while you're sleeping?
yeah, I don't know if you can see behind me the air mattress, but I just
Oh, that
folded
is
it
an
up.
air. I was wondering I thought that was like maybe acoustic foam paneling or some shit. You were in a studio and
No,
yo,
it's
so
a obnoxiously large air mattress. It's just like a queen. I don't know who got that because that's way too big for an air mattress. But I just
yeah.
been flopping it down and then sleeping. I was doing that I guess 5 minutes before because it's just oh man, it feels like just rude to like bring people on and be like I don't even know what's going on here and my eyes are fried. But I'm happy to
Yeah.
have you here for the fundraiser. But
Yeah.
I've heard high regards about you from Ethan Klein, so that's why I'm
That's
excited to
true.
have you on. And
He's a big fan of mine.
yeah,
He's I don't know if he still understands why he's mad at me anymore. I think just like he's just holding on to it. I got a shout out in the big debate, and I was just like, why am I fucking why are you so mad at me? It's it's wild. But yeah, no, I that is how I became aware of you, and I started watching your videos, and you do great work. Look at that.
thank you. I appreciate that, man.
I was pleasantly surprised. It was good shit. And I'm a big fan of anyone who's a pro-Palestine YouTuber or like internet person. I think it's it fills me with hope as someone who's um, older and been, sort of in the game one way or another for a long time. The fact that it's kind of becoming more and more normalized to talk about Israel and what Zionism is and what Israel really is and what's going on with regard to the apartheid there and the genocide there. It's the one good thing I can pull from all of this is how many people are doing real deep analysis about this beyond just kind of the safe sort of liberal Zionist route that used to be like the norm, you know. There were whole organizations and whatnot that were, they were never anti-Zionist, but they were anti-occupation. It was very careful with the words to not mention Zionism and whatnot. And it always kind of bummed me out because the it's the problem, and 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 now people are talking about it openly, and it's pretty sick. So kudos to you, a big kudos to you and the shit you're doing. It's good.
Thanks, man. Yeah, I am new to the game, I suppose. Unlike you,
Hmm.
I wasn't making much content about Israel Palestine really
Hmm.
at all, other than like sharing stuff on Instagram before October 7th. And
Right.
the journey, I guess, that I've had is shared among so many people, especially young people. It feels like the exposure we're getting to everything that's happening on social media has made it so that, I mean, I just talked to, um, this might be not a great example. He's really young. He's like 21 or 22, but a really smart dude that does like TikTok content about Israel Palestine and I think he has a degree in Middle East studies, so he's kind of prepped for it. But it's like him and this whole generation of like, and I'm 27, so I look at something like that and I'm like, you're a kid, but I'm 27, but it's close
Yeah.
enough to 30 that that's close enough to 35 that that's close enough to 40
You're
that like
basically 40.
I'm going to die soon, and that's
Yeah.
okay. But I'm excited to see that the future generations that will pass along the torch are doing good stuff, and on YouTube
Yeah.
too, because it's like I don't know, um I've always been focused on the YouTube space. Like when I
Hmm.
started out, I was making stuff about like left tube, bread tube, this kind of like anti right wing content or anti woke content, like
Right.
making fun of Ben Shapiro or whatever else. And the
Sure.
space has definitely changed over time. And something like October 7th has just galvanized it even further. And yeah,
Hmm.
it's the change in rhetoric, the shift in the Overton window, if you want to call it
Yes.
that, in rhetoric, specifically like about Zionism, like you're saying. It's yeah, I don't know. Whenever I see people being more willing and open to sorry, the chat is spamming something. Give me 1 second. They're
Oh, that's
spamming
fine.
fundraiser mode. Oh, okay.
Fun,
I
right?
have to set it to because I had to restart the stream because if you stream more than 12 hours, it like deletes it or like does
It
something to the record. I think it
doesn't
can
delete the
actually
money though, right? That'd be
no, not the
crazy.
yeah, just erase it just burns it for no one he gets it.
Sorry.
Um he, yeah, I just have to set the thing every time.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I guess like it's hope is a hard word to use right now, but there's some you have to have
Well,
some kind of
it's
yeah.
it's important to me on like multiple levels. And one of them is that without this kind of what I've seen is a lot of young people who are doing deep analysis into what Zionism is, what Israel is, its creation, and then what it uses in terms of like the vulnerabilities, I would call it, of the West that keep it going. And one of the vulnerabilities being the fact that like um, we, especially in the United States, have a system in which money is how politics is done. And there's all these really thoughtful young people such as yourself who are talking about this stuff, and it's important in obviously like many aspects, but one of the big aspects is the fight against anti-Semitism, because is when it's not young people who are doing this, when it's not thoughtful people who are doing this kind of analysis, what you have is these like very, very niche left people like Amy Goodman, for example. Like obviously Democracy Now! Is one of the only examples of like a left media that has any kind of I guess backing in some way, even though it's probably, I think, almost entirely backed by its viewers. But other than that, what you would have, especially at this time, is right-wing anti-Semites who would use this as a perfect opportunity to actually do what everyone claims that we do on the left, to turn Zionism into a dog whistle for the Jew, for Jews. And it's incredibly important to have people who are analyzing this from an actual academic perspective rather than a gut perspective. Because if you see the amount of right-wing psychopaths who have decided to adopt sort of fake pro-Palestinian rhetoric or fake, anti-Zionist rhetoric, it's bad. These guys have, the easiest inroad into really, truly, actually doing what, the people in the mainstream media say the left does,
Mm,
creating anti-Semitism. It's like, no, the right now, in terms of this conversation, it's not happening in the mainstream media. The mainstream media is occasionally throwing a bone to the idea that maybe Palestinians are human, but for the most part, they are backing Israel, full stop. Like it's what they do. So what you have then is an alternative media space that is largely funded by right wingers, and it's in the politics space specifically, but in all spaces really, right wingers run everything. And so if you didn't have people like you, if we didn't have people like Hassan, if we didn't have like the kids on TikTok and all that stuff, you would only have Candace Owens and Jake Shields. You would only have Dan Blitzerian or whatever the fuck. Like these guys who they don't give a shit about analyzing anything other than these, tried and true old conspiracy theories about Jews. And just from a purely self-preservation perspective, it makes me very grateful for people who are actually doing political analysis and actually reading things, and not just kind of consuming, not just consuming whatever, is the most fucking, popular thing. Because then,
Yeah.
it's a bummer when the general populace only listens to Joe Rogan, And you're not to say that like he hasn't occasionally had something good on there, but he's done far more bad than good when it comes to Palestine in terms of like who he lets talk about it, It's hopefully things change with that, but at the same time, having the right wing be the only game in town to talk about Israel is real bad. And so it just makes me grateful for a lot of young people out there.
Yeah, the I don't know, it's so interesting to see how much traction these people are able to, like the Bilzerians, the Candace Owens.
Hmm.
They're able to get so much traction by going on a show and just starting by saying they're killing a bunch of kids and that's bad. And
Right.
that's so out of the norm for
Right.
liberal media to just call it what it is, that
Yes.
this is like, oh, this guy's spitting. And
Yes.
then he follows it up by saying, so this is what it said in the book and why they actually, this is like, it's kind of, it's happening everywhere. They just hide it better elsewhere outside of Israel. It's like, whoa, okay, hold on.
Hmm.
By that point, a lot of the audience is already like, I also agree that killing kids is bad. And that's what
Right.
Israel is doing, which is true. But then
Yes. If
they just
someone's
take it, the other
Yeah, if
direction.
someone, if the only person who is going, is saying out loud, the fact that like to have the moral clarity to say, Israel is killing kids and killing kids is wrong, people are immediately, because they haven't heard this from the mainstream media, are going to be like, yes, whatever else this guy says, he's about to say the truth. And then he's going to go into some fucking, the Talmud says bullshit, as if every
Mm,
Jew is just like looking for
care in a
passages in
pocket.
the Talmud to in order to justify depraved acts. It's like total, just old anti-Semitic nonsense. And
Mm.
that shit is, I mean, not only bad because anti-Semitism is bad, but also bad for the, if you actually gave a shit about, Israel and Palestine, if you actually gave a shit about freeing Palestine and ending Israel and, not just ending, the apartheid, but ending this concept of a ethno-supremacist Jewish state, like you wouldn't make it so easy to paint everyone who agrees with you and as an anti-Semite. It's like almost an op. Like if you told me fucking, Mossad was paying Blitzerian, I'd be like, yeah, I knew it. You know what I mean? Because it's just it's not that kind of shit is just not going to be um it's not going to be helpful. It's all it does is make people go, like regular people go, ooh, see, maybe they do have a point. Maybe, anti-Semitism, is anyone who's against Israel is just an anti-Semite,
It's
So
yeah, it's like
fucking,
two sides of the same coin, I suppose. It's like the
mhm.
the inverted situation where Israel wants Israel to be Jews, and Dan Bilzerian wants Jews to be Israel and Israel to be Jews. So they
Right.
kind of lock arms and do it from opposite directions, and
Yeah.
you end up with, oh, actually, maybe Jews do have a divine right to do genocide, and maybe Israel does
Right.
need to be destroyed in the same way, just be based on anti-Semitic principles.
Right.
And the people caught in the middle, the moral clarity people of being against genocide and ethnic
Hmm.
cleansing and apartheid, and the Palestinians, of course, obviously, uh, they're the ones who pay the price, right?
Right. And it's very effective, it's a very effective tactic too in terms of stopping people from giving a shit. Because, I think most normal people in the West are against anti-Semitism. They're like, if there's one thing I know, it's that when everyone gets together and is like, I hate the Jews, those are the bad guys. And so, that's not to say, obviously, there aren't people who are fully accepting of anti-Semitism, but I think that's just kind of like, in terms of polite society, the normal people. You can't, going around wearing a swastika, everyone's going to be like, even Alex Jones compares everyone to Hitler, compares everyone to
Yeah,
Nazis. It's like Nazi bad, right?
it's the
So it's
easiest
like,
historical allegory to pull for
right.
like evil.
Yes. So it's in general, and it's funny because you can still do that and do anti-Semitism. You can still call other people Nazis and be an anti-Semite, of course. But like you've got these this it's very effective. I remember when I was younger, one of the things that I didn't want to like one of the things that stopped me from speaking out loud about this when I was younger and I was still sort of like in my liberal Zionist phase was I was always scared that people were anti-Semites. I was always like, well, I don't really know, if someone is like secretly just hates Jews. And I would like look for little signals. I would take everything as a dog whistle. I was like, what did he mean by that? And it just kind of made me want to take a step back and go like, I don't want to talk to people about this. The only people I want to talk to about this are other Jews. Um, because I at the very least know that they're probably not like trying to kill all the Jews, you know. Uh, and that is incredibly damaging. It's incredibly damaging to solidarity when you stop people from wanting to examine this further because they're afraid of who they're going to run into and what might radicalize them in some way that's like a Nazi way, most people they don't want to be Nazis, no matter how many Nazis there are, on like Elon Musk Twitter, it's like most people they want to they shy away from it because they're like this I just don't want to be associated with this kind of like I don't want to go down this fucking rabbit hole, right? And so when I was younger, it was like a big fucking, a big block for me. I was like, I don't know, man. I only want to talk about this in like Jewish Facebook groups where it's like safe.
Right.
And it took a little bit before I realized how counterproductive that was. That if I actually gave a shit, speaking out was the only moral recourse.
What was that? What spurred along that process? Is there any specific incidents or specific points in time that you think about?
Well, first, the biggest thing was just going to college. Like I went to college and, I got Marxist brainwashed.
Yeah,
Um, you
you
know,
went woke.
I went woke, and was learning about it outside of sort of just general like news stories that I would read every once in a while that I would put into like context of like well the Palestinians are at it again, and then kind of being like oh actually they do live in a pretty unfair society. I don't think I'm crazy to say that. College was the beginnings of that. And then as I just continued, I kind of like followed a path that I don't necessarily recommend, which is like I then started reading more liberal Zionist authors who had like some substantive critiques of Israel, sort of like your Benny Morrises and whatnot, or your Ari Shavit's. Ari Shavit wrote this book called My Promised Land, which was for me was actually instrumental in sort of sending me, further and further down the path of like, ah, shit, maybe Israel's kind of the bad guy. Although I say I don't recommend it necessarily because I don't know. I do think liberals can go left. I'm not one of those people who's just like, oh, scratch a liberal and a fascist bleeds. That does happen. 100%, that happens. Um, but I also am like, just maybe just read people who aren't still struggling with their own demons. Like the Ari Shavit book is very good because it's the first time I'd heard an Israeli author say like we are not different enough from Nazis for us to completely find it offensive and ridiculous to be compared to them. But then at the same time, the book does go into like how, um, there's it sort of goes, well, there was no other choice. What choice do we have as Israelis? I mean, there's
Mm.
no choice. There's no bargaining with these people, and all the peaceniks are weak, and therefore this is all a failure of the Israeli left as opposed to, a success of the Israeli right. Anyways, I kind of started reading liberal Zionist, authors, and started slowly going in the like anti-occupation direction, the two-state solution direction. And then for me, the big catalyzing factor was going on Birthright. That shit was crazy.
Mm.
Have you ever been to Birthright? Are you Jewish?
No,
I
I
said
actually
that
just had,
very,
huh?
I said it very much like a like a guy who greets you outside of outside of the fucking metro or the subway and
You Jewish?
are you Jewish? I'm trying to give you some Shabbat candles, homie.
Yeah, I haven't gone. Yeah, I went, and I'm not Jewish. I talked to Big Joel today, YouTuber guy, and he
Okay.
talked a little bit about it. But yeah, I don't know all that. I've heard and read enough about it, but I'm curious what your story is with the experience because it was kind of, man, he told a crazy story today. Just, I mean, I can't even recant the story, but it
Yeah.
sounded kind of insane
I
in
mean,
terms of
it
the things that were being said about Palestinians, right?
well, so for in my case, it wasn't about things that were said about the Palestinians as much as it was about kind of me kind of realizing how important our support was to the continuing project that I, came into this trip already having a problem with. I was already kind of in the like my liberal Zionist tip. And uh it was realizing that even just my participation in this what is essentially like a timeshare fucking presentation. You know, it's like that's what it I imagine a timeshare feels like. You go there and they kind of wine and dine you, and then they're like, okay, we all go to a conference room for 2 hours, and I tell you why you need to move here. And so like for me, it was realizing how important we were to the project. So like the big thing that happened was on like the third day of Birthright, there's like a big mega Birthright event. It was like all the different like fucking Birthright trips got together in this like arena, and there was like rappers and shit, and there was speakers like Sheldon. I think Miriam Adelson may have fucking been there. And at the
Was she
time, I
rapping?
didn't. Yeah, she was rapping about how she's like, we invented the cherry tomato and shit like that. She was kind of spitting hot
Spitting,
fire
yeah.
and facts. Um, and like it was a lot of speakers, a lot of musicians, very, very like evangelical mega church coded, which is weird for Jews. Like that's weird. Like I think that one of the main differences, in my opinion, about like Jewish stuff and Christian stuff is like Catholic stuff, all right, but like evangelical mega church fucking microphones, songs, fucking like it was like a Scientology. You ever see that like leaked Scientology video? Where it's like everyone's singing songs and shit. There's like people in sailor outfits. They give Tom Cruise a medal. I don't know if you've ever
Oh wow.
seen
I've
it's
seen Tom Cruise tripping on Oprah, but I don't know if that was related.
I mean, it's Scientology related for sure, but
Yeah,
it's like it was very culty, very
yeah,
like, oh shit, this is kind of strange.
yeah.
And then the headline speaker was literally Benjamin Netanyahu. He was like literally the last speaker. He gave a 10-minute speech about how we're all from Israel, which I was like, that's just not true at all. Like
Oh wow.
I may not know a lot, but I know that like I'm not from Israel. I'm from Culver City. I remember where I'm pretty sure. And even, beyond that, I was like, also my family is not from Israel. This is we're Ukrainian Jews. Um, it's just kind of like it was just like this weird thing where I was like, are we really like literally doing the thing where we say we're from here? Like there's one thing to be like there's a spiritual connection that every Jewish person has to the, land of ancient Israel. It's like, sure, that's true. But are you literally saying I'm from here? Like this is like in the 90s when every fucking white chick was like, we're all African. It's like, yeah, but we're not
Mm.
all really African.
Yeah.
Like this, like we're not taking this literally. This is supposed to be like an anti-racist thing to say we all come from the same, why are we twisting it into this shit? And it was like he came there, told us we were from there, told us about how many great inventions Israel has created. Um, and then he told us to go home. Well, first it was like move here, but then he said, if you don't, go home and tell people what you saw here. And then he proceeded to tell us what we saw there, where he was just like, you saw women who get to have jobs and show their hair. You saw, it was like everything he was saying was as opposed to those dang Muslims who, everything was in opposition to sort of like Arab culture and, Muslim culture, which was like, not even subtly racist. It was just like overt. Um, and I also realized he was like deputizing all of us to go there and like do propaganda for him. And just the mere fact that he was there, I was like, damn, how important are we? Like this is like birthrights for like 18 and 26-year-old, kids.
Mm.
And like, they spend all this money to get a bunch of kids there. You go there, they get you drunk, they try and get you to fuck a soldier. They want you to like fucking go there and be like, oh, finally a place for me, as if wherever you're from is like like you're escaping Poland in 39, like, as if wherever you're from is the most anti-Semitic place. And I was just like, the fact that like he took his, time out of his schedule being prime minister of the whole fucking country to talk to a bunch of children about how they should fuck and move there and or go home and tell everyone how
Yeah.
dope it is. I was just like,
Red flag.
I was like, this is a red flag. Like this is you are asking us personally to do propaganda for you or to move there and increase the number of Jews who live there. It was just all so fucking strange. And I just was like, yeah, this is even participating in this in any way is participating in this giant lie that we're all telling each other about the fact that like this is needs to exist and needs to exist beyond the needs of anything else. Not just the Palestinians, but the needs of anything. I mean, I know people who, after birthright, they straight up uprooted their lives, left their families, and said, like, I'm moving here. Like, if that's not fucking cult-like behavior, what is,
Mm.
So yeah, that
Yeah,
kind
you
of radicalized me.
yeah, you said something about like the lies we were telling each other. And what I've been thinking about a lot lately is the kind of the cognitive dissonance of not only the lies, the stories there that Israeli and the project is telling each other, but the ones that you tell yourself and that you
Mm.
kind of have to believe. And
Mm-hmm.
um,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, because I'm seeing it with like certain cases of things online where I'm like, I can't tell if this person believes this or is lying or
Right.
needs to believe it to like keep the worldview
Yeah.
like keep their mind from like exploding. But
Sure.
it's I don't know like to what extent that how that changes if it's something that's um so deeply ingrained into a society and so reinforced culturally to where I don't know. Like I've covered a lot of instances of things where um, polling on Israeli perspectives about Gaza, right? And it's like I don't know how to talk about this in a way that people aren't going to frame a certain type of anti-Semitic
Sure.
way, but I'm like this is like troubling and it's ideological and
Hmm.
it's ideological to the point that like I don't know what I guess how it is how it that like how that cognitive dissonance is mitigated.
Right.
You don't know what I mean about that?
No, I know exactly what you mean. And in terms of like trying to figure out, is this person lying or being lied to? It is hard to tell. And I don't think it's anyone's job necessarily to figure that out. They're both of them have the same effect. Whether or not they're lying to themselves or lying to you. Let's say they are just lying to themselves in order to feel better, and they need to be surrounded by people who agree with with their own delusions. Like the end result is the same as it is. This is a delusion that is being, reinforced by Palestinian blood. I can't think of anything more selfish than like, well, I need to believe this, therefore I'm willing to sacrifice the lives of, over 2 million people in Gaza and, another another 2 million in the West Bank. I mean, uh, either way, it's reprehensible, but it is an interesting question, and I see it a lot, and I think it's one of the things that we cover a lot on our podcast about Hezbollah is that there are some people who I know personally who I'm like, I don't think they are liars.
Hmm.
I think they actually are afraid. And I think they're being lied to. I think they are only consuming media that reinforces their worldview and reinforces this constant fight or flight fucking trauma response in their brain that they've been experiencing over and over since October 7th. And this is, I wish I could say like, and this is the result of people watching too much right-wing media, but it's not, it's the result of the entire Western media landscape walking in lockstep with Israeli PR spin. Like they have been pushing the same October 7th, slow, steady drip of atrocity after atrocity every time in order to elicit this. Well, if that's the case, then fuck them. Do what you want to the Palestinians. And I was watching that and I was like trying to pull some friends of mine out of that because like people who I like love and think are thoughtful people. And I was just like, please, 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 like try to have some perspective on this that goes beyond, you know, uh, this like beyond mainstream media. And it sucks. It's hard to tell people that because people, as soon as you're that guy, unless you're the person's already a very political person, if you're the guy going up and saying like the mainstream media is lying to you, you sound like Alex Jones. You
Right.
sound to a liberal like a total like whack job.
Right.
And so it's it's hard to break people out of that cycle. And it's a cycle that is very deliberately done. Now, it's n not necessarily, like I said, trying to figure out who's the liar and who's being lied to. Like sometimes it is just Western media reporting the things that they're told to report, and the things that they're told to report are reported straight from Israel, and Israel is a Western democracy, and therefore we're going to trust their media over that of Hamas, the, terrorist organization. So people will parrot these talking points completely uncritically. But then there are some people who are just like major media figures who are doing the lying. They are doing it they're lying to you and they're lying to your family and your friends and trying to get, I mean, Dana Bash, Jake Tapper, these are people who are knowingly lying to you. These are
Hmm.
people who are taking the extra step. They're doing extra credit for the sake of upholding narratives about anti-Semitism in colleges, anti-Semitism, amongst young people, like all of the things that are going to get people like, friends or former friends to say, to reinforce this view that, see, they do hate us. Everyone does hate us. We're hated. We're hated. We're hated. And that shit is so poisonous. And I'm like, how do you have a job? It's crazy. It's crazy. That motherfucker, Jake Tapper, this fucking bitch. Okay, so like he's writing a book now about how there's a cover up. This is not about Israel, but tangentially, there's a cover up of what Biden's like cognitive decline,
Mm.
and he's writing an expose about it. Motherfucker was part of the cover up. The entire mainstream Democratic media space was doing the cover up for Biden. Anyone who was saying, I don't think this guy's brain broke, was immediately called out and questioned as like being either like ageist or ableist, all this shit. Jake Tapper was doing that too. So what the fuck is he talking about? Anyways, I'm pissed. I'm pissed at that motherfucker because he's just one of these people who I see carrying weight, like carrying the water for Israel and for the Democratic establishment for whatever the fuck he's paid to fucking carry water for. And I'm like, this is truly damaging. It's truly mental fucking torture for a lot of people. It's
Mm.
like it's like watching what used to be just a thing with like old people in Fox News at nursing homes, where you're like, oh man, it's crazy that people spend the last 10 years of their life being radicalized to be Nazis and then they die. Like, that's wild that we're doing
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
And now it's, you see, amongst people who should know better, who are like not in cognitive decline. They're not like sitting in a wheelchair in front of a fucking television screen all day. They're like, they're regular ass people, but they're only consuming media that is reinforcing this view that, that they are hated because they are Jews. And that hate and that hatred and that bigotry specifically being towards them is more urgent than a genocide.
Mm.
That's wild to me. Because there is anti-Semitism. You see it. It's everywhere. It's especially now. It's like more so than ever. Um, but that's not. I'm sorry, but that's not as urgent as a literal genocide. There's nothing more urgent than the mass killing of people. I think something we all agreed on at one point.
Right.
But then it was like, wait, wait, wait. Well, before we talk about that, I got to talk about my personal feelings about some college kids. Like that shit is embarrassing,
Yeah.
straight up.
It's a fixation on like language being violence and violence being self-defense or violence
Right.
being necessary.
Yeah.
The clearest double standard, that you can have.
Yeah, it's
And
like
seeing it over and
comically
over
clear.
again,
Yeah.
across the spectrum of like media, all the way down to YouTube. Like I've talked about it when I see like I don't know if you saw the Sabra or the Habibi Pass tier list controversy.
Yeah, yeah,
Uh,
yeah. I interviewed Frogan about that. That
oh, okay.
was yeah, this you're talking about the Frogan thing?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I mean that's a great example of just like um finding a boogeyman and considering that boogeyman to be more urgent than a genocide, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, that shit was that was it was a Habibi tier list for I assume everyone in the chat probably knows, right? Let me read the chat.
It's pretty. Yeah, there's some pretty online
Everyone's
viewers.
very online.
Mine are, I think, a lot of them.
Yeah, Sabragate. Yeah,
Subrogate.
yeah. Um, but yeah, like yeah, no, that shit was crazy. What were you gonna say about it?
Oh, just that. The frustrating thing is seeing the kind of reversion back to the 2018 identity politics about microaggressions, where you see people who are down
Mm-hmm.
to say the N word, actually being like, well, this actually is a dog whistle for this because this means this other thing that definitely
Right.
thing happens. So these guys are Nazis. It's like, wait a minute, that doesn't make sense that you're saying that, but they're saying it, and then um, the frustrating thing for me, the most frustrating, is that they're saying that while also trying to act like this is, other stuff that's going on is just as important, but I'm only going to
Mhm.
talk about this thing. Like, I'm not against Palestinians. I'm
Right.
just going to only talk about this. And then at the end say, Palestinians might, or usually at the start, it's like Palestinians have it bad, but here's this thing that I'm
Right.
only going to talk about. And I mean, that's, it's a through line with college campuses. It's a through line with, whatever the ADL is cooking up on
Hmm.
just on Twitter. It's
Hmm.
everywhere. But, um,
Yeah, the
you
shit
know,
is crazy because of so much of it is open narcissism, and I think it's just how it's the kind of behavior that I think is rewarded online a lot of the times. Just the drama bullshit, right? And that shit is, that shit is cute, whatever. Like I've always like when it came to people who had hot takes, especially in like 2018 style that you're talking about, my response to them, or my thought was always like, hey, everyone, you can tune this out. Don't let this like fuck up your worldview on people. There are actually a lot of normal people out there who aren't going to who aren't this hostile. And this was like if it was like someone who's like a super liberal social justice, whatever person, um, just writing a fucking BuzzFeed article about how you're bad. Yeah, it's
yeah,
like you can just ignore it. But it was always very popular because, people engage with that kind of shit. It was cute back then. During genocide, this is like the big difference between I think a lot of these things. It's just like at what point do you stop yourself from prioritizing your own personal vendettas and your own personal issues and instead prioritizing a thing that you know to be one of the great evils of our time,
mm,
like even if you disagree with the way in which people speak about it, even if you are feel kind of icky about the language, because I went through all that. I was the same thing. I was like one time I was like trying to write a thing. I was like writing down my thoughts about why we shouldn't say the word Zionist anymore. And, there are people who still kind of have that take. Um, and I realized it was just, I was like, I'm just doing therapy with myself. Like it was me trying to justify this sort of like language policing other people. It was me trying to justify my own like emergency exits out of like further delving into something that made me uncomfortable. If someone started talking about Zionism or Zionists, I'd immediately go like, well, then I'm out. Because that
mm,
shit to
we
me,
know what that means.
yeah, I don't know what that
Yeah.
means. I don't think you know what that means and all this stuff. And instead of like giving anyone any grace to like, hey, maybe they don't mean all Jews. Maybe they're talking about this specific thing. I would just be like, yeah, but I don't know for sure, so I'm just gonna piece out of it. Like the shit where you're constantly like looking for dog whistles, you're looking for a reason to dismiss people. If you notice the pattern within yourself is I'm doing this for anyone who is talking about Palestine. Eventually, at least with me, you come to the point where you go like, "Oh, this is a me problem. This isn't everyone else's problem. This is me desperately trying to hold on to something that I know deep down is wrong and I know is like filled with all of these moral contradictions, but I just can't let go of this thing. So I am policing everybody who is trying to talk sense about it. I'm finding little fucking words, just like little, just the way someone says something, the aesthetic of the person, you know, looking at Hassan and be like, yeah, he's too buff to be talking about Jews, or, like, like, what
Yeah.
is he trying to say with all that muscle, you
Yeah.
know? And like, why is he so handsome? This is some bullshit. That feels anti-Semitic in and of
Mm,
itself. That he's
mm-hmm,
hot? What are you trying to say?
mm.
You think I'm ugly? Fuck you. You know what I mean? But like, there's always a reason why you can, piece out of this like conversation that you can like make up. But at some point you do have to like, you have to like realize that what you're actually doing is policing yourself from ever seriously examining this in your brain.
Mm,
And I do think that for me, I was lucky enough to, um, not have, I think if I had gone to Israel and I had like, um, moved there, if I had, changed my life in some way, um, embedded myself in it, I think it would be harder for me. I think I would, because it's like, what is it called? It's like, there's a name of a fallacy.
mm.
It's
The
like,
milkman fallacy.
it's like when you keep putting money into a bet and you keep
Sunk
waste
costs, maybe?
sunk cost. It's sort of the sunk cost thing where you're like, you know, you you're in too deep to like really examine it, and you've got enough people around who are telling you no, you're right, then you know you're gonna keep going with it. With me, I was lucky that I was able to kind of no strings attached on that shit. I could just kind of examine it and kind of be self-critical and look at my own fucking, what is this deep need that I have to like that I'm willing to live with these contradictions, and I'm willing to live ostensibly with this blood on my hands, for the sake of holding on to this idea that I someday may need to move to Israel as some sort of plan B, which
Mm,
is essentially the like sort of the Western like American thing about Israel is like no one is we're not moving there in great numbers. It's
mm,
not there is not actually like this like great exodus to Israel. I'm sure, maybe the numbers rise and they fall and whatnot. Um, but most Jewish people, and I think Christian people in general, and maybe not so much Christian Zionists who desperately want every Jew to move there, but Christians and just people in the United States in general are like, oh yeah, Israel needs to exist because at some point, the Nazis are going to come back and the Jews need to move somewhere, to be safe, because they won't be safe here. And that's like an insane fucking justification for like, okay, so like we need to do a genocide real quick to make that possible.
mm.
That's that's what you're saying is you're saying that justifies doing genocide. It's insane. It's
Yeah.
completely insane. A plan B is the reason why you need to do a final solution.
Yeah.
Wild. You know what I
Mm.
mean?
Yeah. I don't know, there's something you said there about the sort of having the opportunity to unlearn that
Hmm.
those feelings and that like I guess fixation on rhetoric and things that it sounds like you grew up being I don't want to say indoctrinated, but being exposed to the idea, valid ideas about what it means to be experiencing anti-Semitism. Was
Hmm.
that process like from day one as a kid, or how did you get to the point where,
Yeah.
something that you eventually figured out that, oh, I am just you know, uh,
A white
ignoring the
guy?
bigger picture.
Okay. Yeah.
I looked in the mirror and said, "Wait, I should stop
Yeah.
saying that. I should
I'm
stop
just
doing that."
white. I'm just a
Yeah.
white dude. Um,
No.
yeah, fuck. No, I grew up with I feel like I grew up with the only a slightly more Zionist indoctrination than your everyday like coastal American. And it was only slightly more because I have Jewish blood. You know what I mean? Like I was slightly more because it mattered that because it meant I personally would have to move to Israel if the Nazis came back. I think the indoctrination I've found, at least for myself, I'm lucky in the sense that I was not. born into a wasn't born into a religious family whatsoever. I was born into a mixed family, and my indoctrination into Zionism was essentially just a replacement for Judaism. There was no Judaism, there was no religious upbringing in my family. It was just kind of like this generalized thing. Israel is the place where the Jews are from. Israel is the place that exists to protect the Jews. I don't think that's too different from, I don't know, your own upbringing, but like in for yourself, that's kind of, I assume, how you thought about Israel is like it's the country that protects the Jews, or no?
I don't even remember, to be honest. I was
Yeah.
not particularly politically engaged, but I think at the point that I would start thinking about politics, yeah, it was just treated as a given, not even necessarily talked about, treated as a
Right.
given. I remember like watching Obama get elected and being like, cool, oh, that seems cool. I don't really know what's going
Right.
on. He's a Democrat, but oh, and he's talking about Israel. That makes sense, probably, sure. I don't know, whatever.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
gonna just
Yeah.
play PlayStation, whatever. But
Right.
over time, I probably had um a sooner than most exposure to like the Palestinian perspective, and it
Right.
kind of it didn't give me a window of time to
Right.
really consider that, which I guess
Yeah.
is in a way an advantage to
No, 100%.
like a like moral luck or whatever they call it. But at the
Yeah.
same time,
Yeah.
I know how deeply it is ingrained in a lot of people and a lot of people I know, and I for that reason can have trouble because I'm angry a lot of times. I'm pissed
Mm.
off about what's happening, and being understanding and empathetic is important, but it can be very hard, especially under the circumstances. And same like toning rhetoric down to try to I guess like not offend the sensibilities of someone who you may be offending.
Right.
Obviously, you want to be able to get through to people and meet them where they're at, but
But
also
it's
at
exhausting.
times it can be exhausting, yeah. And
Yes.
I don't know. There's like a spectrum of um, like even like Finkelstein has talked about how like from the river to the sea. He's brought that up as an example. You saw that in, I don't know if you watched the full Hassan Ethan debate. I hope not. But
I don't,
the
did people actually watch that all the way through?
it has a
That's
million views probably.
crazy.
Yeah,
I,
it's
I, I turned it on at one point and then I realized that I had like a child and life to live. I was like, I
yeah.
can't do this.
That was the other question I was gonna ask you about is being normal before being on here, because most
Mm.
people on here aren't normal, and they came
Yeah.
on here because they aren't normal and stayed on here because they're not normal. But
Yeah.
I'll ask you about that in a sec. But
Okay.
I
Okay.
guess the point I was getting to was like when I hear Finkelstein talking about how from the river to the sea is a language is a if it's a slogan that needs to be explained in a way that is you know not even offending, but like interpreted in a way that people view as anti-Semitic and genocidal, then perhaps a different slogan is better. And
Right.
I hear that and I'm like, I think he's wrong about that, because it to
Hmm.
me is a form of it's a form of tone policing, a movement that shouldn't be tone police, whatever. But then
Sure.
there's also a practical consideration and working within the confines of the politics of right now that I feel like it's a dial that it's hard to strike a balance sometimes. It just depends on the person, but I don't know,
Right.
that can be because you'll see examples of things like you're talking about where someone is so upset over something that's so clearly, if it
Hmm.
were a joke about any other group, it would be totally fine,
Right.
but just pure hypocrisy. But then other times you will see like, oh yeah, this is being um, you know I don't know, whoever is using Palestinian talking points about Palestine is actually genuinely an anti-Semite, and some people are
Hmm.
buying into it, and that's a problem too. So we should probably,
Yeah, it's
pay
it's hard
attention to that.
because like playing to I mean there's like people are speaking to different audiences, right?
Mhm.
And some people need to have their hand held. It's one of the things that I like about Hassan, is that, I mean, because mostly I just hate him because he's so hot. No, I'm kidding.
Way too hot.
He's,
Too
no, but
tall.
I'm taller.
You're tall,
You
right?
Yeah, I'm 6'6".
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so
So So yeah,
He's not actually that big of a deal. It's kind of weird that he's so
yeah.
popular because I'm like clearly taller than him.
Fuck both of you, I guess.
Yeah, yeah. Now
5'10".
fuck me the most though, because I'm the tallest.
Oh, right. Well,
Fatty dick. So the one of the things that I like about Hassan is the fact that he does do hand holding, and I think he gets a lot of unfair flack from people in general about like his they're like, oh, you know, his takes are people they act like he is. I mean, obviously they're all being disingenuous, but they call him like terrorist supporter and all this like what is essentially Islamophobia. They just there's a guy named Hassan who doesn't like Israel, and they're like, I know what that guy is. But like I think hand holding is important. Having guys who do hand holding is important. I know that, as fucked up as it is, I was a guy who needed my fucking handheld. I needed to read fucking Benny Morris. I need to read like, you know, uh J Street pamphlets and shit like that, stuff that was like middle of the road because for me I needed that. I needed to have, my hair combed and, my back patted and be like, it's okay. You can read this like a baby. Um and so I understand people who take that approach. The river to the sea thing for me, and I love everything Finkelstein has said about Palestine, and like his book Gaza was incredible. I mean, he's written so much amazing. He's done a lot of amazing work and has taken a lot of shit for it. Um, so like props to him. The thing about policing that phrase in particular is that it is, the idea that you wouldn't need to explain. You're always going to need to explain. You're always going to need to explain things, but needing to explain Palestine will be free. I mean, what else? It's very self-explanatory. It's
right,
like when you really look at what the problem is when people say from the river to the sea, Palestine will be free, and the fact that anyone has taken that phrase and in any way believes it's anti-Semitic in any way, um, that is a result of Hasbara, pure and simple. That is a result of a concerted effort to make Palestinian freedom synonymous with anti-Semitism and terrorism. Like that's the only reason you would think that. In a vacuum, from the river to the sea is okay, these are two borders, clearly. Palestine will be free. In a vacuum, anyone who would hear that phrase for the first time, the idea that they would immediately assume, is there some anti-Semitism going on? There's no explaining there. The only thing you'd be actually explaining, this is just my opinion about it, is you'd have to explain to people who had heard that phrase as anti-Semitic. That's
right.
it. There's nothing inherently anti-Semitic about that whatsoever.
Mm.
And I think it is completely counterproductive to start um, policing people based on things that are going to have sort of an association with people, because I'm sure there are anti-Semites who have said from the river to the sea. I'm sure there are people who have said from the river to the sea because they meant they wanted to push the Jews into the sea. Um, of course there are. There's all sorts of people.
There's all
The
sorts
people
of
there's
people
all
in the
sorts of people
world.
out there. But this idea of like, well, because the right wingers, I got into this like a similar issue with the word with the shortening Zionist to Zio. Now, having been around this issue for a while, I've pretty much always known Zio as something that right-wing David Duke people said.
Mm.
And it was like, for me, I personally, I don't say it. That being said, when somebody, especially since October 7th, in the past 18 months, the amount of people who have just learned about what the fuck Zionism is, I am fully willing to believe that some people just think Zio is short for Zionist, which it is.
Mm.
And you can say, well, but right wingers say Zio. And it's like, yeah, but I don't know if everybody is making that connection. I don't think
Yeah,
it's
I do this
fair.
sometimes, but you know,
Right. That just means I'm A-okay. And also white power. You know what I mean?
17, yeah, words,
And
yeah.
the 14 words or whatever.
14, I forgot.
Yeah.
It's been a while since I've
17.
counted,
You could
yeah.
just add three more words to that. Baba Baba Booey. Um, but like to me, policing the language to that extent, where you go like, well, actually, there's a historical connection to this being used by people like David Duke and stuff, is like, again, I don't say it because just because I've known this for a long time, but so many people are learning about Israel Palestine for the first time, and so I kind of will I give people the benefit of the doubt because I'm like, I don't think they're getting this from David Duke. I think it is just a word they see and they go, oh, Zionist,
Mm.
which again, it is. The difference is that people like David Duke also use Zionist as a slur. We we can't start making the argument then that you cannot say the word Zionist or you cannot talk about Zionism. See, this is to me where it all kind of goes. Once we start putting up these roadblocks in language, or I guess roadblocks that I would consider to be counterproductive, then I just or unreasonable. Like that's an unreasonable roadblock when we say, "Oh, you can't say Zio, you can't say Zionist, you can't say Zionism."
I mean, it's like beyond unreasonable to like it's just deliberate obfuscation. Like it's
Yes,
deliberate, oh, this word no longer means what it means.
right.
Just because
Yes,
I am interpreting it to mean it in the way that, I can then use to make you stop saying it.
right. And the truth of it is that when you are dealing with this subject matter, you are not going to be able to avoid the fact that there are some people who are quote pro-Palestinian because they're just fucking Nazis. You aren't going to be able to avoid that. It is it's unfortunate, but the thing about it is don't invite them to your fucking march. If you see them in your, group of Palestine solidarity activists in real life, uh, kick them the fuck out.
Mm.
If they're doing some Nazi shit, then out immediately. But the truth of it is having been to many direct actions, you don't see it. You see the occasional weirdo with a sign, but you don't see sort of like uh, an integrated movement where Nazis are standing side by side with so-called purple-haired non-binary people or whatever. Like this you do not see it because they don't like each other. And the truth of it is that these anti-Zionist these fake anti-Zionists like right-wing Nazi psychopaths um they exist in their own spaces. They're not about it. That's you know, first and foremost. They're not really about it. And you can tell because they're not fucking there. And if you do see Nazis out on the fucking street, they're like Proud Boys marching around with fucking masks on and shit like that, or those weird, fucking, they got the full like American flag, you know.
Oh, like
uh,
horns and stuff, or
Or no, like the fucking who are those guys who were like they're all wearing red. They're wearing the like sort of like a red, white, and blue balaclavas. The fucking they were
kneecap, or different. They're
no, 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 no,
uh,
no, 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 not like cool guys. I'm talking
yeah,
about I'm talking about like Nazi march
yeah,
guys.
yeah, yeah.
They're like Proud Boy adjacent
Yeah.
fuckers. I think they were in Cleveland or some shit.
Oh,
Anyways, you see that in those spaces, and yes, in online spaces, you will get some people who I consider to be essentially infiltrators. They might say Zionist and mean the Jews. Um, and that's like, I mean, at this point, uh, uh, I I I go like, hey, this is fucking Twitter at this point. Elon has turned Twitter into fucking 4chan,
Right.
and it fucking sucks. Although they've upped there's more porn than usual,
Yeah. So
which
it's
is
so it counters it
it
counterbalances.
evens out
That's true.
for for those of us who are cool.
Yeah,
But
want
yeah,
to enjoy their time on there.
right. But yeah, what I'm saying is that like, I see the occasional person who slips into like some anti-Semitic, tropes or tropey stuff. And if they are someone who like, let's say like listens to my podcast or something, and they start, saying some stuff that alarm bells start going off, red flags, sometimes I'll follow up with what do you mean by that? Or sometimes I'll just go through their shit and I'll see like, well, who are they retweeting? Who do they like? And if it's a lot of fucking right wing shit, I go, okay, well, this is some fucking Nazi who just started
Yeah.
following me because I had a funny, pro-Palestine video.
Hmm.
But if they're like, this is the only way I can tell is like, what is this fucking person, who does he follow? What does he talk about? And if it's like shit that I'm like, is pro-Palestine and not Nazi stuff, I go, okay, well, they just don't, people will talk about this in ways that mirror a lot of anti-Semitic stereotypes and tropes. Um, and it's unfortunate because it is literally impossible to talk about a lobby, specifically the lobby for the so-called Jewish state, without talking about money. You have
Mm.
to.
Yeah.
That's what lobbying is.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I understand it's uncomfortable. I feel
Hmm.
uncomfortable. I fucking hate hearing about it. I
Hmm.
wish that the lobby would stop doing it. That's the culprit, not the
Mm.
person who goes like, Jewish money is doing this and that. It's like, ugh, that sounds weird, but understandable if you are not a Nazi and you are seeing a state that's calling itself the Jewish state. It is claiming to speak for the Jewish people, no matter how many times people say, no, that's not, no, they don't. Yes, they do. Yeah, they do. They claim to represent the Jewish people. It's why you see such a defense of Zionism as like all Jews are Zionists. I'll see this from Zionists.
Mm.
They go, all Jews essentially are Zionists.
There's
You know,
polling, you know.
this is why they say that. This kind of like this appearance of consensus on this, which is absolutely ridiculous, ahistorical, and just not true.
Mm.
And that shit to me, I look at that and I go like, yeah, I can see why people would make the jump. Well, they're saying it's all Jews. The fucking Hezbollah are saying it's all Jews. So I'm going to talk about Jewish money.
Mm.
It's a thing. It's hard. It's hard to police every single person in that way because of the fact that it's so reinforced by Israeli PR people. It's reinforced by the state of Israel. It's reinforced by Western media, and all while having this constant contradiction where they go like, "Well, don't you dare say the same thing because it is anti-Semitic." Which I'm like, yes, I agree. It's anti-Semitic to conflate Jews and Israel, to conflate Zionism and Judaism. It is anti-Semitic, but only if anyone who's criticizing Israel does it. This shit to
Right.
me, I'm like, if you don't think that Israel is creating a more anti-Semitic atmosphere, then you know what the fuck you're talking about.
I remember a while ago I saw this Instagram account. It was like this Orthodox Jewish guy that did real estate videos, and he made
Hmm.
Instagram reels being like, "Here's how you should do the mortgage on like a just baseline like financial advice stuff."
Hmm.
Um, he was in New Jersey, but every single one of the thousands of comments on the video were, "Did God promise you that house 3,000 years ago?
Hmm.
Like,
Hmm.
is this
Hmm.
occupied land? Blah 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 blah
Hmm.
blah."
Hmm.
I go through it and I'm like, and the guy's account said nothing about Israel. He's just selling houses in New Jersey, whatever. I
Hmm.
go through all the comments and I'm like, the thing is, obviously, ha- half or more of these are anti-Semitic in their content, but a lot of them are talking about stuff Israel does that is bad and should be criticized. They're
Right.
just projecting it onto a random Jewish guy in New Jersey, and
Right.
that's anti-Semitic.
Yes.
But is whose fault is that? I mean, it's theirs because that's
Yeah.
that's just a random guy, but it's also kind of Israel's fault because they do occupy Palestinian land and they
Yes.
do it in the name of Jews, and that's
Yes.
honestly just
This
feel
is
bad for the guy. He seemed like a really sweet guy, but
I know. And
over
this
and over you see that.
yeah, and this is, this is first and foremost the people responsible for doing that kind of anti-Semitic shit are the people doing it. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
That does not in any way let Israel off the hook to, to say that uh, because, people can get fucking brainwashed, but
Yeah,
they do
they're
a
still
crime. It's still
doing.
on them, right?
Yeah, yeah,
But the fucking, but in no way can you say that, like, oh, well, what does Israel have to do with making people do that? It's like Israel's doing
what
everything in
they
its
do.
fucking power.
Yeah,
Israel doing everything in its fucking power in order to, like they do not give a shit if people start hating the Jews. They don't. It is nothing has made that more clear than everything that's gone on in the last 18 months. The idea that they would claim to care about anti-Semitism happening all over the world while simultaneously doing a genocide in the name of Jewish safety. You go like, someone is making a calculated choice here. They go like, well, in order to keep up the Hezbollah that this is a Jewish state that exists, it's reason d'etre or reason d'etat or whatever, is safety for Jews. Um, in order to do that, we have to uphold this idea, this conflation that, Zionism is Judaism, that Israel is for the Jews, that all Jews love Israel, blah, blah, blah. And if that conflation makes it more dangerous for Jews around the world because they are now being, put in the same category as people who love genocide, or feel genocide is necessary, then so be it. They're like, that's a calculation. That is something that they're doing. And this is not, this is something you see. You see this with, I forget the exact context of this, but Jonathan Greenblatt, when he became the, head of the ADL, um, he made a concerted effort at one point. I wish I could remember the actual context of this, but he made a, a, a very specific choice at one point that put the safety of Jews in America at risk for the sake of support for the state of Israel. I believe it was anti-BDS legislation,
mm.
and at the ADL, it is a compromised institution, but an institution nonetheless. And they have people who work there, and they, were able to do whatever sort of polling and statistical analysis to find out that, like, by supporting this kind of anti-free speech legislation, um, we are going to increase anti-Semitism in the United States. And Jonathan Greenblatt made the choice. I don't care. It's more important that we support the state of Israel and stop people from having the ability to boycott it. And that to me is like just the perfect example of how Zionists don't give a fuck about anti-Semitism. And that, that's a story for, there's so many different examples that at this point, if I hear an Israeli talk about anti-Semitism, I want to put a gun in my mouth. There's nothing to me that's more insulting than an Israeli talking about anti-Semitism, as if a born and bred, a Sabra Israeli knows a fucking goddamn thing about anti-Semitism. I'm sorry, you live in the state in which you are the supreme ethnic identity. You are the supreme religious identity. The state is for you. You can't go around being like anti-Semitism. No, fuck you. Every single Jew in the diaspora who's lived in the diaspora, uh, can talk about anti-Semitism. You cannot be at the top of the fucking totem pole in your goddamn racist ass state and be like anti-Semitism. Fuck you. No, that's not. These guys never read any goddamn critical race theory in their goddamn lives. I swear to God. This is why they're all right wing too, because they just, they, they
Gotta hit the
don't
books, man.
they don't hit them books. But yeah, anyways, that's I have a lot of thoughts on that.
No, I
A lot of
mean,
thoughts on a lot of things, Noah Samson.
yeah, those thoughts are great. Anytime you want to come on and share them, you are welcome to.
How long are you gonna do
Uh,
this for?
I don't know. People keep asking to come on, and I'm like, okay, I guess if you want, okay, I'll just keep going. I think the plan is to end Friday night, but I might as well make it a week because we started on Saturday afternoon, so maybe
That's true.
Saturday. But
Yeah.
yeah, that's the plan. So
Yeah. I love it, man. How much have you raised so far? Let me check the.
I think on the website it's 383,000, and then
Oh
there's
my
a bunch
God.
of other ones that I accidentally started on YouTube that have made like 20,000. So I think it's probably close to like 460, 470,000.
Oh
So
my Lord, that's a lot of money. That's so good.
yeah,
And we
it's
probably
awesome.
raised another like $300-400 in the last hour.
Oh, I think like 2 or 3,000 actually.
Shut the fuck up.
Yeah, the people were donating a lot.
Yo, that's
Yeah,
wild.
no, it's
Shout out
awesome.
to the chat. Put W's in the
Yeah,
chat. Draw
W's in the
penises in the
chat,
chat.
bro.
Um, all
You're
that
not old,
shit.
man. You know the Twitch lingo.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Poggers,
there you
racial
go.
slur. Everyone do. I'm just kidding.
don't
Don't do
don't get
that.
him
Don't
going.
do what I
Don't do
didn't
it.
say. Actually, it's your fault if you said someone drew a small dick. Drew more equal signs on the dicks. Uh,
Nice.
yeah, man. No, it's good talking to you. I appreciate everything that you're doing and the fact that you. I mean, what about when you take a shit? Do you bring the camera in when you're taking a shit?
I kind of just
Do you have a
walk away and
bucket?
leave it up to the
Okay.
imagination. I did cut a hole, but I couldn't find a bucket, and I didn't want to get the floor dirty, so in the chair. So
And you're in
figured
a,
out.
I assume you're in an undisclosed location.
I was until I got doxxed by a certain community of people on a from a screenshot of a dating app, but I do, yeah, stay. I do keep it safe
Damn.
insofar as much as I can.
You got you got you got doxxed during the stream?
No, no, no. It was like a
Oh,
couple weeks ago.
a couple weeks ago. Okay.
Yeah,
Damn, that sucks. I'm sorry, man.
it's all good. Figure it
Yeah,
out. I called the police station nearby, and they said they'll not shoot me immediately.
that's
Um,
good.
yeah, you
That's
can
good.
just tell them. But
Yeah,
anyways, yeah,
that
man,
that's wild. Well, I really
crazy way to go off.
yeah, that is a crazy way to go. That happens sometimes. I appreciate everything that you're doing and all the money you're raising, and I appreciate that you have this community that's you know uh out here and here donating for a good cause. It's fucking it's yeah, it's really cool. It's
Yeah,
very
they come together, and I think a lot of people are. I mean, there's probably people from your community here too, I'm sure. So
yeah.
it's a cool exchange. But yeah,
Yeah, I
appreciate you
hope
coming
so.
on. And
Absolutely. And if you guys want to listen to Bad Hasbara, you can do that on podcast apps or watch it on YouTube. Although it's the same. It's the same. I don't understand.
then they don't get to see your
It's
beautiful
I'm
smiles.
not.
Oh,
Look at
come
my
on.
eyes. People
Oh.
ask me if I'm high. I always look like this.
Mm,
I don't wear makeup. I just have watery eyes, bro.
mm.
But if you want to listen or watch Baddest Bar, also if you like Mad Men, I do a Mad Men rewatch podcast.
Oh shit.
It's called Mad Yourself a Man, but you can only find it if you search for Pod Yourself a Gun. So good luck finding my podcast about Mad Men, named after the theme song to The Sopranos. And yeah, shout out to you and all your peoples. Love you, dog.
Shout out.
Nice
RIP.
to
Shout
meet
out.
you.
Nice to meet you too. This is
Great
great.
work. You do great work.
Appreciate you.
All right, I'm gonna
Take
eat
it
food.
easy. Yeah.
Bye.
See ya. Funny guy. W. Matt. Matthew Lieb. New friendship forever. Yay. We did it, chat. Kent? My roommate's the one who told me to get Matt on the pod. Or he didn't tell me. I was going to do it anyways, but he reminded me a lot. And so that's pretty epic. Because you're the two best friends that anyone could have. W's, W's, W's. I feel like Noah should sleep in his bed off screen while people in different time zones keep the stream going. That'd be cool. How do I do that? Yeah. That was a lot. That was a lot of gas. Yeah. A nice range. Oh. Yeah, really funny, dude. I promise I've watched the show. I just fucking mixed up the Mate brothers. That is that a thing that people do, and it's like a fucked up thing that happens? No? Okay. Oh. Okay, okay, okay. No. Justice for Daniel. Wow. W's in the chat. In my opinion, this at some point needs to transition from a fundraiser to an organizing event. You've captured a large audience of young radicals. They need to be utilized. No, not now. Go to sleep. But no, I need to save the world. That's a great point. I hadn't even thought about that. I was so stressed yesterday. Like at night when I was not streaming, I was like, I have to find the right guy. I need to talk to somebody. I need to have someone damn help me. You missed Joel. I will put right now the what's it called? I will put the freaking. Wow, we had a lot of great guests today. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Dude, I'm not built for this shit. I'm not built for this type of talking. Probably hear it in my voice. I need water. Also played Guitar Hero and got 68% on Through the Fire and Flames on Expert. Think about that. Picture that. Okay, VOD number 7 is the one with Big Joel, I think. Noah's Ark, is that what we're calling it? I like that. That's fun. Oh, the description still says Olivia. I will change that. I have fucking 70 hours of footage to sort through. North Star Radio, I'm down. Why no stream on Twitch? 'Cause Twitch fucking sucks. And I have to stream while Hassan streams. I can't be a post or pre Hassan uh guy. So it's not worth. I could set an end time, and I did that yesterday. I just kind of logged off, but I think it'd be cool to keep the stream going. Maybe not though. Maybe I should, because then I can start up the next day with a fresh pair of eyes. Yeah, I'm thinking we're back. I gotta hit up the Chapo guys. I gotta hit up the damn. Wait, I know what you are. Hey, kitty. Can you hear that? You guys hear the cat? Oh no. Okay. She gets scared around the air mattress. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Got a banger guest. She went boing. Hi, kitty. Quit asking me to show hog. That's not your business. Hi, kitty. She wants to go outside. I chased her around last night for an hour and a half. You're so funny when you're tripping balls from being tired as hell. Am I? What'd I say? I'll play one game of Guitar Hero, fine. Since you asked. Can anyone reach out to the New York Times to tell them that I'm that fucking guy? To tell them to fucking kill themselves in a large group? I wouldn't say that. That's parody. I gotta chill, man. It's too late, but not too late for a quick game of Fortnite. But I could play a game of League. I can do whatever the fuck I want with my life. Nothing is stopping it, stopping it. Discovering free will. I'm gonna play League. Get ready for some good shit, y'all. Y'all are not ready for this crap. Somebody stop him. He needs some milk. What if they put Fortnite in Among Us? What if they put Among Us in Fortnite? Ah! Wait. Shit. Hello? Noah Coleman from Blowback would be epic. I just need people to. I don't know. How do I tell people that this is happening? That in a platform that's not YouTube? Because I don't know how to. I don't have a Twitter. I got banned. I do have a Blue Sky. What should I say on there? Just like freaking, hey, I'm rich. Come give me money. Oh fuck, I forgot. Michael Burns messaged me. Okay. What did I do to get banned? I memed a little too close to the sun. Nah, I called a guy a pedophile and I said Elon. No, I'm not gonna. I need to summarize it better because it was funny and worth it. Wait, why am I looking at some random Twitter account? Where is the game? Oh, oh. I'm gaming. Should we spin the wheel or some shit? Shorts are all written up. Okay. Yeah, it's called Clone Hero. It's kind of epic, I think. Wait.
tonight. In flames of death's eternal rain, we ride towards the fight. When the darkness is falling down and the times are tough or right, the sound of evil laughter falls around the world tonight. Fighting hard, fighting on for the steel through the wastelands evermore. The skeleton souls will feel the hell bodies wasted on the shores. On the blackest flames in hell's domain, we watch them as they go. In fire and pain, and once again we know.
W's in the chat. Everybody, please donate $1,000 to the charity. What do you guys think? Do you guys love Guitar Hero just like me? I need to download Cliffs of Dover. Cliffs of Dover is the best Guitar Hero song. Ooh, Knights of Sidonia. We can do that. No, I need to restart now. Sorry. I start with an L. Sorry, Taylor Lorenz can't DM me back. I gotta play One by Metallica on Guitar Hero. Yeah, she plays with blowing my shit up, bro. This is a journalist and shit. Computer? Paul, your wife is calling. She feels great. Just listening to some music. fucking song. This song's so good, bro. Damn, how did it make me? What am I missing though?
Darkness in prison.
Dun 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 dun. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay.
Darkness imprisoning me. All that I see, absolute horror. I cannot live, I cannot die. Trapped in myself, body my only fear. Landmine has taken my sight, taken my speech, taken my hearing, taken my arms, taken my legs, taken my soul, left me with life in hell.
Don't know, please don't know. You goes tomorrow. I should put that thing up on the thing. Wait. Is that too small? I don't know if they have Knights of Sidonia. This is kind of crazy.
But she's a black magic woman. She's trying to make a devil out of me. Don't turn your back on me, baby. Don't turn your back on me, baby. Yes, don't turn your back on me, baby. Stop messing around with your tricks. Don't turn your back on me, baby. You just might pick up my magic sticks. Got your spell on me, baby. You got your spell on me, baby. Yes, you got your spell on me, baby. Turning my heart into stone. I need you so bad, magic woman. I can't leave you alone.
Oh. Holy crap, Anonymous donated $50. Good job. The slight delay on a song all about the group has got to be tougher than like spreading through 1/16th note. You mean the Black Magic Woman? What face do I make when I lock in? I know I kind of go like this sometimes. Or like I tilt my neck. Red one. Sounds good. My time zone is PSD? PST. No expression, no blinking. Have a good solo. Download more songs. It probably is copyrighted. I'll do that actually. Ba, 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 ba. La 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 la. What do we got, chat? Songs wise, what are we thinking? Give me the set list. I need a song that has a good guitar solo. What's a good song with a guitar solo? I'm gonna get Cliffs of Dover. That's the first one I'm gonna get. Cliffs of Over. Yeah. Hotel California. Ooh. I like that. Why is it not here? Hmm. What's Eruption? Oh, is that one crazy, crazy, wacky song? I don't think I've ever heard War Pigs. What is that? Eruption. Let's try it. Oh, Van Halen. Yeah, I remember this. I remember this shit. All right, War Pigs. I'll try War Pigs. Who's it by? Oh, Black Sabbath. Sure. Sure, sure. Ooh, Don't Fear the Reaper. I don't know shit about music though. You guys can hear the cat, right? Oh, this is such a good song, man. She just wants to go outside. Um, hey, 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 hey. You're crazy. Ride the Lightning. Yeah, I remember this song. Yeah. Don't Fear the Reaper. We don't like that. We don't like that one. Hi, baby cat. You big baby. We can do a kitty cam. Haha. And she's real too. That's what they don't teach you in school. War Pigs is thematically appropriate. All right, let's try it, man. Why not? I'm gonna play Cliffs of Dover first, because I love myself. La 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 la. Her paw is always on that damn button. How'd this get all messed up? Hear the song of my people. Me too, brother.
After every hit we take. I hate the way it hides among the shadows, waiting for the slightest bit of storm.
Did you get any?
There's not my
No?
choice to be. Seasons don't feel the ring.
It's a good song. But I fear we have to play this one. Hello? My lips vanish when I'm focused. 85%. Passing grade. What else did we get? Oh, I know this one. I want to play this one while actually, I'll play War Pigs first. I don't remember it though.
Generals gathered.
Alright. Oh, I know this song. That's a war reference. Smart of them to put it in the song called War
Generals gathered in their
lyrics,
masses, just like witches
If anyone
at
wants to
black
sing along.
masses. Evil minds that plot destruction, sorcerer of death's construction. In the fields of bodies burning, as the war machine keeps turning. Death and hatred to mankind, poisoning their brainwashed minds. Oh Lord, yeah. Politicians hide themselves away. They only started the war. Why should they go out to fight? They leave their own to the poor. Yeah. Time will tell on their power minds, making war just for fun, treating people just like boys in chairs. Wait till their judgment day comes. Yeah.
What happened? They donate. They donate. How much? How much? How much? How much?
darkness, world stops turning. Ashes where the body's burning. No more war pigs have the power.
Matt.
And as God has struck the hour, day of judgment, God is calling. On the knees, the war pigs crawling.
War Pigs reference.
Begging mercies for the sins. Satan laughing spreads his wings. Oh Lord, yeah.
Love this part. Sounds crazy ending. It's a banger. $20 dono goated. Let me scroll up and see if this shit was not a fluke. 500 bones. Damn, Matt4249. Thank you. And thank you, Anonymous. There's a lot of anonymous donations. I wonder why.
Generals.
Long ass song. But this shit's stupid. Sounds so good. I forgot it's like. That shit is sick. I only suggested this as a joke. No, I'm glad you did. I forgot about that song. It's kind of a banger. Is there a System of a Down song? Great. System of a Down, BDS, BDS. Hi, man. Banger, banger, banger. Are we arguing about delicious heavy metal? Wait, I'm not thinking of System of a Down. I'm thinking of Disturbed. That's what I'm thinking of. Disturbed with BTS, just because the bald guys listen to Psycho. What else do we download? This shit is hard. I hate this shit. Sorry if you hate this song. I know someone in the chat. I'll show you this one. Blue Oyster Bowl. Wait. No, I wanted to download. I wanted to download a Rush song. What song? No. All right. What song should I download? Doing one more group. Tom Sawyer. Oh, Stairway to Heaven, maybe? I know that's not. System of a Down. Wake up. Chop Suey. Oh, I bet that shit rips. What else? Ooh, Tool. Let's see what's going on with Tool. I don't know, man. Tool might be. Numuma. Vicarious. Wake up. Oh, wait, that'll help me. I see what you guys are doing here. Wait, am I frozen? How about this? What if you did one of those? Is Bohemian Rhapsody a good song on Guitar Hero? Oh, Green Day. Also, wait, Hendrix. Isn't this going to get you banned? I don't know. I just want to hear Hey Joe by Jimi Hendrix. What's a good Paramore song? Misery Business? Not Misery Business? Too basic, they're saying? Oh, wait, Knights of Sidonia. That was what somebody. Oh, it's a good song. No, I like a Misery Business. People say Paramore won't play Misery Business anymore because of misogyny. Is that a prank? What does that mean? I've never listened to Megadeth. Sounds cool. Sorry if I ruined it. What'd you ruin? You're good. Oh, I haven't heard this song since I had a fucking iPod. A lot of strumming in this one. I'm sorry. Yeah, fuck it.
come to make things right. You and I must fight for our rights. You and I must fight to survive. No one's gonna take me alive. The time has come to make things right. You and I must fight for our rights. You and I must fight to survive.
good song. Damn, that's a banger. Oh, my sweet baby cat. The purple box. Wait, I don't know what the purple box is. Longer note with the bar? What are the songs? Check the files. Bulls on Parade. Alright, let's do Bulls on Parade. We can do it. I did play it yesterday. It's a good song though. Sorry. Bulls on Parade reference.
Time to stop, okay? No more. Where the fuck are your parents? Who are your parents? I'm
Who's
gonna call
this?
Child Protective Services.
Wait.
Time to stop, okay?
Oh, that's interesting. Interesting. That song is so good, but it's so nice.
General's got
Oh, that was Filthy Frank. Damn, he predicted the future.
No more. Where the fuck are your parents?
This song is called Suffering, or the genre is Suffering. It's 20 minutes long. Kind of curious. I will play that Filthy Frank one though. Get me out. Get me out. I bet it gets cool. Is it a real song?
Rolling suicide.
It's time to stop. It's time to stop, okay? No more. Where the fuck are your parents? Who are your parents? I'm gonna call Child Protective Services. It's time to.
You wanted to. Grab a brush and put a little makeup. You wanted to. Just got the baby with the shake up. You wanted to. Why'd you leave the kids up on the.
No, God! No, God, please, no!
What is this,
No!
man?
No! No!
You wanted to. Why don't think you trust in my self-righteous suicide?
Easter egg.
I cry when angels deserve to die. Wake up! Wake up! Grab brush and put a little makeup. I just got the baby with. Why'd you leave the kids upon the.
No. No. Mm-mm. Mm-mm. No. 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 Hell no. 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 I refuse. No. No.
Created on the table. You wanted to. Grab a brush and put a little makeup. You wanted to. I just got the baby with the shake up. You wanted to. Why'd you leave the kids upon the.
Wow, this is garbage. You actually like this?
You wanted to. Why don't think you trust in my
Is that despicable?
self-righteous suicide? I cry when angels deserve to die. In my self-righteous suicide, I cry when angels deserve to die.
It's Unrwa.
Table, 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 table.
It's annoying. Interesting. What is that song? No smile? Yeah. Wake her up.
And the men who hold high places must be the ones who start to mold a new reality closer to the heart, closer to the heart. Blacksmith and the artist reflected in their art. They forge their creativity closer to the heart. Yes, closer to the heart.
Brush yourself and go.
Philosophers and plowmen, each must know his part to sow a new mentality closer to the heart. Yes, closer to the heart. Yeah.
Was supposed to play one song and then go to bed. Do that now. Here's the schedule for, I think, tomorrow. Or maybe more. I'll let y'all know. Question is to sleep or not to sleep stream. I'm gonna go to bed, regular style. I don't think I can do it again. Thanks for hanging out. Hug your roommate, true. This has been great. It was a good day of hanging out. And what are we at for the thing? 388,962. YouTube, we are at, I don't know, I'll do the fucking tomorrow. We're getting close, man. Getting real close. Good night, folks. Stay blue, stay.